What's going on, Mason? What's going on, George Mason University? What's up, George Mason University? What's going on, George Mason University? We're back.
Double ball!
I'm Perry Buckley.
Lindsay Hokinson.
And I'm DeMonte Shaw.
What's going on, George Mason University? Welcome back inside another edition of the Press Box. I'm Vandy Menard.
I'm Perry Buckley.
DeMonte Shaw.
And I'm Matt Newman.
And thank you for joining us right here inside. And we've had an exciting week in sports, in Mason sports, and we're gonna start off with men's soccer first.
Yeah, men's soccer. I got you. We got our freshman goalkeeper Stephen Cross was named the Atlantic 10 Men's Soccer Rookie of the Week. So big ups to him. He's been killing it lately. He's got a
just a stat to throw out there. He has a third in the league, third in the A10 with 0.47 goals against average. So that's very good. I mean,
Impressive.
Anytime you're scoring less than or letting less than one goal in a game, like that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah. Big props. Shout out.
Coach Greg has high praise for him. Just a little quote, just get him out there. Stephen has had a positive impact on our team, allowing no goals in the run of play to date. His presence and technical ability are exceptional as his soccer intelligence. So that's high props coming from you, Coach.
Definitely.
You know, that much faith in a rookie. So
yeah.
So big ups to you, Stephen.
Keep doing your thing.
Also, just wanted to give an update on some of our former Mason athletes and how they're doing now. So we have two former soccer players who are now they're pro players now. They signed contracts. We have Paul Andrews, who signed with the the Shelbourne Football Club. So big ups to that. It's overseas. It's doing his thing. And then someone you're probably more familiar with, Taylor Morgan, who actually was drafted by Toronto FC this past year in the 4th round, has signed a contract with Ostersund's FK, which is over in Europe. So yeah, I mean it's a bit of a downgrade, but it's still pro sports. So
yeah, congrats.
Big ups to you guys.
Yeah,
they're doing it, representing Mason well. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Just
get out.
We talked about last
and support
time.
these guys. They're gonna be
never
stars.
know.
Like,
never know.
You're watching future professional players. So
That's awesome.
just wanted to shout them out and encourage them to keep doing what they're doing. Don't forget the green and gold.
Always. And then we're gonna switch things over to women's soccer real quick, who have a record of 1-3-1 on the season so far. They had an 0-1 loss to American, but their upcoming games, they have ODU, Loyola, and the big one is VCU's coming here on our home turf on the 20th, 7 p.m. right here at home. So we gotta go beat down the Havoc. So you definitely want to come out and support that for sure. And let's swing it over to Matt. Matt, you got some news for us? Volleyball?
Yep, women's volleyball. They September 6th or 8th, they participated in the Patriot Invitational here at George Mason. They were 1-3 at the tournament. They won against Coppin State in a 3-1 win, and they lost against Princeton, Radford, and Temple. Very close games, all of them. Like the sets were decided, some of them by 2-3 points. Just a couple of special props to go out there. I might say these names wrong, but I still want to give you your props. Lola Awokanaran, I think something. She was named the best blocker of the tournament, so big props out to her. And Lena Sonjic was named to the Patriot Invitational alternate team. So definitely good things going on there.
For
The
sure.
big O.
The big
All right, we're going to swing things over to Perry for golf and cross country.
Yeah, as for the men's golf team, they placed 12th, and they were led by Kyle Hart, who took 35th at the Spring Hill Suites Intercollegiate. And Kyle had a best round of 297, so good job, Kyle, leading that team there. As for cross country, in the Splitter Alumni Open, the men's cross country, both men's and women's had a very good showing there. Men's took 5th, and the women's team took 4th. As for the upcoming games, cross country has the Virginia Invitational scheduled for September 28th. Both the men's and women's teams will be competing at those. And for women's volleyball, the Spartan Spiketacular at Greensboro, North Carolina. Yes, the Spiketacular. Watch out.
Spectacular.
At Greensboro, North Carolina, hosted by UNC Greensboro. They'll be facing, have some stiff competition, facing TCU, North Carolina Central, and UNCG. As for men's soccer, they have 2 upcoming home games this weekend. Friday facing Rhode Island at 7 p.m. and Sunday facing Massachusetts at 1 p.m. So best of luck and go out and support, guys.
Definitely. And again, you never know. So you want to make sure you go out there support.
And there's free stuff.
Free stuff.
Yeah.
There's wings, there's pizza, there's hot dog, there's hamburgers.
Shirts.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it right now. Matter of fact, we're going to grab a bite to eat real quick. We're going to be right back. Keep it locked right here inside the press box. Don't go away. Welcome back inside the press box, George Mason University. And recently, a topic came up of the most athletic, a certain analyst on ESPN said that the most athletic quarterback, pro or collegiate, is Johnny Manziel. Has brought Herm Edwards to be Herm Edwards and completely disagree. So I felt that we could do our own little debate on it. The most athletic QB in the NFL, which is going to bring us back into our Word Up segment. The most athletic QB in the NFL is blank.
I mean, we all know who I'm going.
Big surprise.
We all know that I'm definitely going to go with my man RG3. Don't call him RG. His name is RG3. And
Even after the
That's his
injury?
name? Pretty sure it's Robert Griffin III.
Okay. Yes, even after the injury, I would take him over any quarterback in the league. As far as athletic
Mobility.
Don't you? You're about to witness murder on the press box right now.
We got a little hostile.
Just saying, I'm not going to pick a quarterback with a bum knee over the likes of Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, even Mike Vick. You know what I mean? Geno Smith, he's got full wheels. We're talking fully healthy participating guys versus...
This is where that cowboy hate comes out now.
Yeah.
I didn't say Romo. He's not in that category.
I hope he didn't pick Romo. I hope he would have picked Romo.
Heck, I'll take Peyton Manning running over Robert Griffin III.
That was going to be my pick, actually.
Really? See?
No.
He's being a dingus.
But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Colin Kaepernick. Squidward.
I as well was going to go Kaepernick as well.
Thank you.
That's my pick. I see you.
Irrational.
I mean, Kaepernick's just. He does have more size than RG3 in terms of, just body size that helps him withstand hits a little bit better, and so that's my pick in terms of most athletic quarterback right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the size factor. He's got the speed and the size, so he'll be able to take some of those bigger hits where you look at smaller guys like Mike Vick, RG3, and when they get hit, every single time you wince when they get hit.
Yeah.
A guy like Kaepernick, he'll be able to withstand a couple hits.
Now, maybe if this was like before the injury, I would entertain the thought of Griffin being that guy. But now,
I mean, his comeback in 8 months. I mean, people were saying the same thing about Adrian Peterson last year, that he wasn't going to be the same, and then 2,000 yards later, what did they say?
RG3's not playing the same game though.
is he gonna rush for 2,000 yards?
I don't think he's not going to rush for 2,000 yards because he's not a running back.
Is he going to rush for any yards?
Yes, he is going to rush for yards. Once, in the first half of the first game, he did look rusty, and he was afraid to step up.
But in the second half, he was playing a different game than he played last season.
As in how?
He wasn't. They're not playing an option game anymore. RG3 is not very mobile.
They're
Well,
going to
also
ease him into
they were forced to throw it because they were down by so much. So they could have gone to the read option offense, but Kaepernick's my pick.
I can't believe it. RG3 would be so disgraced.
Next.
Anyways, moving on
to a knee.
Moving on to our next topic. We'll just set the stage for this one. Of course, in college football and college sports, as it seems to be the case recently, there's always some form of allegations that come up every here and there. And, well, now it's no different. Recently, there's some stuff about a couple Alabama players meeting with agents, and there's also been a scandal proposed or alleged scandal from under Texas Tech during Mike Gundy and Les Miles' time and tenure there, that players are getting paid sometimes as much up to $10,000, and that there's plenty of drug use, marijuana use specifically on these specific teams. So of course, the NCAA is looking into it, but these recent college accusations are blank. we're up to Monte Shaw.
Apparently they're laughable.
Laughable. That's my pick. Laughable. NCAA, they just come up with these allegations, and then they barely find any evidence for it, and then they're just like, oh well, let's throw a fine at you and don't do it again.
A
Yeah.
half-game suspension for Manziel.
They never have any real evidence.
When they're trying to look into Miami and take Miami down, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So I see where you're coming from.
Pure speculation. So laughable.
Wow. I think personally, if I had to say one thing, I think that they're unsurprising. I don't really I kind of feel like this kind of goes on a lot more than we really think. Because this are big money programs. They're trying to get in the best recruits. They're trying to make their players stay there. They're trying to keep their players at the optimal level of playing. And any means that they have to do that, I think that they're willing to take them. They just try to not get caught. So I wasn't really surprised by it. I mean, some the stuff the drug usage, I was like, whoa. But the money part, I'm not surprised by that at all.
I agree. At this day and age, I feel like it's expected. That'd be my word. It seems like every other month there's another case of another, coach or another player or another school team that there's more accusations. And like you said, it's drug use and all these, money laundering and all this stuff going on. It's just, I feel like it's really prevalent, and a lot of it goes on that we don't know about.
Yeah. For me, my word is old, because just kind of pick up back on what you guys said. It happens all the time. It seems like every other week there's something new, some school, and something else comes out with players getting played and this and that, drug use, whatever the case may be. So for me, it's old. And then, of course, the NCAA is going to look into it. They're going to try to find evidence or evidence that's not there, and then try to penalize the team for it. And it's kind of, to be unfair, to penalize the players that are there now that didn't have anything to do with it. So you're, in turn, punishing the whole program as a whole just for a few guys that decided to go down this route.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. One thing, I just kind of the whole payers being played. Do y'all think that payers should be paid by by their respective schools?
I don't think, not for their performance. I think that they're being compensated for their performance and the scholarships, and they're being taken care of. Everything. I mean, that may not cover all their expenses, but school related, for what they're doing for the school, they're being paid with their tuition and room and board and probably meals being covered.
Books, all that stuff.
Yeah, books, all that's being taken care of. That's their compensation from the school for what they do for the school. Now, I mean, I think you were mentioning merchandise, then that's another story.
I think the schools need to start handling it better. When they're marketing these players as, you're putting the guy's name on the back of a jersey, and they're selling thousands of these jerseys.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I would feel like, hello, that's me, that's my jersey. I should be getting some of that money. So therefore, I kind of blame the schools a little bit. I believe it was the SEC recently said that they're not going to be putting, or not going to be selling jerseys. I think it was.
With names on the
back?
back?
Yes, with the names. So therefore, just marketing school team merchandise, not individual player merchandise. I think that's one way that they could try to alleviate some of that.
Yeah, and then when we go back to having to pay players, you have to look at it as the amount of money. Because we're not talking about just paying college football athletes. If you're going to pay collegiate football players, then you have to pay every single collegiate athlete. Because that wouldn't be fair to pay college football players and then you're not paying the other schools. You're not paying volleyball players, anything like that. So I also agree that they shouldn't be paid. They are getting a scholarship to cover that. When it comes to with the school's merchandising, kind of how you brought up, if they're going to be putting somebody's name on the back of it, that person should be getting their fair share of it.
Commission or something, yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, this is a debate that's been going on for years. They'll probably still continue and always continue, because these things are probably always going to go on. Is there any solution to stopping it? Who knows? There's no cookie cutter way to do it. But let's transition, because we can spend all day on that topic. Let's transition to last week. Unfortunately, my Skins were victim of Chip Kelly and the Eagles' new offense. We got to see firsthand the damage that they do. So the new Eagles offense is blank.
After you Harry.
The resident Eagles fans itself.
Electrifying.
Electrifying.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very, very fast paced. I don't know if they're gonna wear themselves out before they wear the other team out. But just the number of plays run is unbelievable. I think it was 31 in the first quarter, and
Something crazy.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think LaShawn McCoy had 183 yards, and again a ridiculous amount of carries, more than he's ever had. And
Under a certain coach from beforehand.
it was the most rushes in I think it was 15 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. Something ridiculous.
Who's the coach during that 15 years before that? Was it? I forget. Andy.
Who won the game? I kind of forget.
I'm not dissing the Eagles. I never was dissing.
Tubby.
That was a shot at Andy Reid, but if we're gonna go there.
It was a good game to watch, indeed. Let's see, what word would I would say satisfying. Satisfying. I'm sure it's satisfying. For all these
Please elaborate.
all the Eagles fans,
There you go.
just knowing that their team had this potential all along under Andy Reid. The man would not run the ball. I mean, when your running back scores a touchdown and punches you in the stomach, I think you should run the ball. I think that's a message, And then now, as soon as he's gone, this new offense, they're actually living up to their potential. Vic is getting his, McCoy's getting his. I think Deshaun Jackson's going to flourish in this. I mean, they had a little dump off, and he just grabbed 10 yards out of it like it was nothing. It was wow. So I would say satisfying for the players. McCoy especially, and then for the fans, they're satisfied. This is what we want to see our Eagles do.
Good word.
I'm gonna say, I can't. I think it's gonna be unsustainable because I don't know if they can go at the same pace for the entire season. 16 NFL games, that's a long time to be running that many plays. But I will say that in the short term, and if I think if they kind of switch it up a little bit, I think that it's very effective. Honestly, I think it gets the most talent of all their roster because I don't think they're really a ground and pound team. I think they're more of a fast team, and I would from watching the game myself, I just noticed that wow, these players are they're, especially McCoy, he's just so many jukes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think anyone can tackle him.
Guys look silly out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's one, a product of him being such a great running back, but also two, a product of the system putting so many you couldn't tell where the ball was going half the time, and I thought that was it was a very good looking offense from my point of view, even as a Redskins fan.
I added that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I mean, you saw Chip Kelly's.
Wait. That's
That's cool. Wow.
Cool.
It was nice. It was nice to see. I mean, you like my vocabulary right there?
Wikipedia.
I mean, you saw what Chip Kelly was able to do with his offense at Oregon in college, and just to see it translate at the NFL level, because that was one of the big questions in the offseason was how Chip Kelly's offense was going to translate into the pro game, and he had the doubters, of course, as there are with everything. But it was a sight to see, even being a Redskins fan. It was a sight to see just the speed of the game. I mean, just how much time was still on the play clock when they had their play set and ready to go. Yeah. And it was impressive. That's a better word.
There you go.
It was impressive. I'll take out cool.
Cool.
I didn't want to go impressive because I'm a Redskins fan, but it was impressive. Big ups to Michael Vick, and I mean Shady was.
We're not gonna talk about it anymore.
Shady was shady, man. Making guys miss over the place, making our defense look silly. I'll give him props though. They did their thing.
He looks so happy, man.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
He's just this is
He's
what I was
rejuvenated.
born to do.
He looked tired, but happy.
But I admire his heart because I remember there was one play where he was done. You could tell he was done, but then he's one more and he runs another one for 6 or 7 yards. And he kind of collapses, and then he gets to the sideline. I'm that's what I'm talking about. That heart, these guys want to play for Chip. They're just I'm
true.
tired, but I'll give you one more, and then come out. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then kind of how back to how you brought it up, but the thing is with every new trend that comes up, it's now defensive coordinator is trying to stop it, and defense is trying to stop it as a whole. So, do we think at all that? Sometimes it takes more than a season, as we saw with the Wildcat. But as soon as people figured out the Wildcat, it was out. So even though it took a season, that fad was here and gone. Not saying this is a fad, but do we think that defenses will kind of pick up towards it later on this season, or do we think anybody will be able to pick it up at all this season? Game plan against it.
Well, I mean, I think that I think it's going to be a lot more effective in like the long term than like the Wildcat was, because the Wildcat like completely changed up everything.
Of course, yeah, that's gonna be.
I mean, but like with this offense, it's still like a base, it's still a base offense. It's just a different type of a base offense.
Ratchet it up.
Yeah, it's kind of like the pistol offense. It's still like a base offense, just with like some added elements. So I feel like, it's not going to be as effective, for like the rest of the season. Like, it's still going to be very effective though. But they're going to have to, like I said, they're going to have to add new things, add little new nuances and stuff like that.
Oh, big word.
Big SAT word right there.
Okay, Mr. 1600.
Yeah. But I definitely, I think it is going to be effective. Just, they're going to have to use some innovation.
Yeah.
Oh. Where innovation is.
Here,
I think like it's gonna be hard to game plan against a team that's gonna be running this like they run this every week in practice, and you're gonna have to try to duplicate that in 1 week to prepare for them.
Yeah.
Like maybe once or twice out of a season. Like you can't duplicate what they're practicing every day in your 1 week of preparation, if that. Especially with all the less contact and all the all the changes to practice
regulations. Yeah.
I just don't think you can ever fully like get used to that tempo and run it the way they run it. So I agree. It's going to be good in the long run.
I think the basic factor is the conditioning. It's purely meant to run down the opposing defense. So it's going to be a matter if the conditioning of the Eagles is going to be able to hold up throughout the entire season, which I believe it can. But like you said, you're going to be able to condition for this in a week. Yeah. Conditioning starts way back in the summer. So I think it's going to be very exciting, and we're going to blow some teams out.
Oh. So, I mean, your defense has to be able to blow people out too, and once we got it going, it was. I feel like their defense is going to get kind of tired too, though, because especially with like the run play so fast, like they might be like scoring like really quickly, and then like, oh, the defense is back on after like 3 minutes. That could be a little bit of time for the defense as well.
The defense also then can take risks, because if we're scoring that quickly and getting up on people, the defense can be able to take risks,
That's true.
Because the teams, like the Redskins, are going to have to play catch up. So it's going to be a lot of impact on the secondary of the Eagles to see if they can step up to the plate and, make big plays and, stop sustained drives.
No Nande, no problem.
You just came up with that one?
Wow.
I did.
You were waiting to say that.
He's had that in his brain all summer.
Like, oh, I got it. Let me use it.
That's kind of clever.
One time.
Kind of clever. Like that. All right. Well, let's switch over to bring back another segment real quick. Over under. This one's we're gonna have to lower the number on this one, but originally what we're gonna do is Tim Tebow will play 5 NFL games this season. So more than 5, less than 5.
Is that play or start?
Let's do plays, because I figure 5 games is too much. It's not hitting 5 games.
Is this at quarterback or is this just in general?
Good point.
My gosh.
Good point. Is it?
When I originally thought of it as a quarterback, because he's not gonna play anything else but quarterback.
Well, if it's quarterback, let's do under 5 plays.
Call out.
Over. Okay. I think if any team has a brain, I'm just gonna call them out. Cleveland Browns, the Jaguars. Who else could use a quarterback? I don't know. Tampa Bay. I don't know. New York. Jets. That is. I mean,
no faith in Geno?
Geno's been looking good, but looking better than
Geno thinks he looks good. But they could use some help. I mean, he thought he was God because he drew a penalty, a clutch penalty to win a game. But no, I think if these GMs swallow their pride, especially Jacksonville, whose GM has came out and flatly, we don't want Tebow. I think you could use Tebow. You're not winning games right now. I think I hate to sound like Skip, but he wins games. All right. Brandon Whedon is not winning games. Just saying.
Any other quarterback you want to go on? Since you're on the rant, I mean, you're on the Buccaneers. You want to say something about Josh Freeman?
Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman is not a leader. His team didn't even want him as team captain.
That's pretty bad right there. Like.
So you're not going to be on that team very much longer. Who else can we call out since we're just...
Since you're on that part, you might as well.
You.
Who else you want to call out?
This is my control verse right here. I'm about to murder you in the name of Tim Tebow. So I say over. I think at least before half of the season gets through, somebody will say, you know, let's swallow our pride. What do we have to lose? I mean, you know, Jeff Toole, he's, you know, if E.J. Manuel goes down, you're not going to stick with Jeff Toole. No. Okay, no. These quarterbacks are going to get hurt, and these backups...
Do you really think they're going to bring him back after they got rid of him?
Yes.
All right.
Was it over under 5 games or 5 plays?
Over 5 plays, 5 games.
5 plays.
Hey, 5 seasons!
Okay.
All right.
Should we just skip to the next topic? Oh my goodness.
Forget the king in Cleveland. We got the son of God coming back to Cleveland.
I'm saying maybe 5 games in like the Canadian Football League, maybe, if he's lucky.
I'm gonna say under 5 plays.
Disrespectful.
I mean, like I said, T was a winner, just how you brought up. I don't have a rant like he does. I'm not gonna try to top that because I can't.
I got more.
You got more?
Calm down.
Continue.
How can you forget what he did in Florida as a quarterback? How can you forget what he did in Denver as a quarterback? The Jets screwed him over. They bring him in, part of the circus, basically. They wanted to fill the stadium. They don't want to admit it. That's what they did. Sanchez is Rex Ryan's guy. He had to get him hurt to get him out of there.
Got that tattoo?
He's got the tat. You know, if you look pre-Jets, Tebow won games as a quarterback. It wasn't the prettiest, but he got the job done. And I'm still a firm believer in Tebow. Now I'm done.
That was beautiful.
But like I said, 2 national championships in Florida and make the playoffs with Denver, cleaning up the scraps. I mean, what were they, 1-5 before he started? Brought them to the playoffs, beat the Steelers. I mean, of course, the loss to Tom Terrific, but it's Tom Brady. And then after that, that's when it went downhill. People like to focus on what he did in New York and think that's Tim Tebow. No. Let's look at Florida.
What did he do in New York?
He protected a couple punts.
Oh, man. All
right.
That argument could almost convince me. I don't even know if I should add in anything else because you might come up with something else to say. I'm sure you
Heisman Trophy winner
Oh my God.
as a quarterback.
Calm down.
You sure? You have any more?
No,
Oh my goodness.
Skip Shaw? You sure?
I'm good now. I'm good.
All right.
As much as I'm a fan of Tim Tebow as well,
Same.
it's going to be under 5 games. He's currently unemployed. Has no team. He's been, as you mentioned, dropped by Denver, dropped by New York, dropped by New England. Like, who's going to pick him up next? I don't know. No one's really showing that much interest in him as a quarterback, and he doesn't want to stray from being a quarterback. So there's interest in him from other teams playing different positions, possibly tight end, but he's a quarterback, and he said he wants to be a quarterback, so I don't think he's going to play this year. Simply stated.
Dang. Good, you didn't need a long rant.
No.
Somebody over here.
Short and sweet to the
Cold
point.
hard truth.
That's how I do it.
Alright, do you have anything else?
No. Move on.
Alright.
No more.
Alright, let's move on real quick to another one. Peyton Manning, of course, been tearing it up. The record held by Tom Terrific for touchdowns in the season is 50. So at this rate, at this pace, do we think Peyton Manning would throw for over under 50 touchdowns this season?
I'm personally going to go over.
Oh, got him breaking the record.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's already almost 1/5 of the way there. That's crazy.
Exactly.
One game, like...
Yeah.
15 more to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a solid passer. I can see him throwing like 2-3 a game, like, easy.
Yeah.
So, I definitely have him breaking it.
Especially with his army of weapons he has.
Yeah.
So
He's so stacked. I was like, oh my gosh.
I go over as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go slightly under.
Oh.
Slightly under. Again, yeah, he has the weapons and stuff. I think later on that Peyton, that running game is going to develop and I feel that some of the touchdowns scored are going to be from the run game. So I think he of course Peyton Manning's going to sling, he's going to throw, but I think some of the touchdowns won't come from kind of how they punished Baltimore, but him just throwing in the air so much, and some of it is going to come on the ground. So I'm going to say he's still going to be in that 40-something range, probably like 40, 45, 46. He's going to be around there, but I got slightly under.
I'm going to go over, agree with you guys. The run game, I feel, is very suspect. They have 3 potential running backs, don't really know who the starter is, don't really know who they want to run. In the first game, didn't really run the ball that much. No Sean Moreno, Monte Ball, didn't have that many carries. And again, they don't have like a solidified number 1 back. And in order to beat these teams, I think Peyton's going to have to put up some big numbers and put up a lot of TDs. Along with their defense is a little questionable as well. If they're going to be able to, with who they have out and whatnot.
Well, we'll continue. This.
I think he's got to put up some big numbers.
We're continuing this on another segment. I think we can dive into that with even more. But we thank you for joining us back inside the press box. Let us know your picks, comment, keep following us on Facebook, on Twitter. All right, I'm Vandy Bernard.
I'm Perry Buckley.
DeMonte Shaw.
And I'm Matt Newman.
And as always, George Mason, press on. We'll see you next time.